So just like we did with regular Game Boy, let's look at some Game Boy Color games. Now on this particular list, had to put this one together myself, so I went ahead and omitted third-party games that were either movie licensed or Disney licensed, you know, stuff where obvious licensing were getting in the way. Things like, you know, Disney, Warner Brothers, movies, celebrity, stuff like that. So those are not there. So there's still a very healthy amount of first-party and third-party with a little bit of the obscure thrown in here. So still a pretty healthy list here. But yeah, I had to put this one together myself because the selection on Tier Maker was a little, what's the word? Dry. I'll put myself here. There we go. Yeah, so we'll do that. All right, 1942. Yeah, it's a Capcom title, but it was also an arcade game, so I'm actually going to say, I'll put that one, I'll put 1942. I'll put 1942 as a most likely. Why not, you know? Pinball, that one was done by Ultra. It's obscure, so I'll put it as a maybe. Alone in the Dark is already there. Asteroids, typical arcade game. I did say for regular Game Boy that it would probably show up on there, but I'll put the Game Boy Color one on there just because why not, you know? And let's see. Bomberman Max, Champion. Now these are two interesting ones right here. Champion and Challenger are actually pretty interesting because this was basically a Bomberman game that was taking advantage of the link cable stuff, like almost like a Pokemon type thing. So like, you know, exclusive content and then battling each other, teaming up, stuff like that. So because it is that, and because Konami's usually pretty chill about stuff like that since they own the rights to Bomberman, I'll actually say that Bomberman Max Champion and Bomberman Max Challenger, I'll actually say that those probably have a pretty good chance of getting in there. Bomberman Quest, I'll put Bomberman Quest as a maybe just because that one's kind of obscure. I already said something about Bust-A-Move on the regulars, in the regular version, so I'll put Bust-A-Move right there on the maybe. Centipede, I'll put that one as a maybe as well, just because it's an arcade game. You know what? I'll move Centipede up. I actually had that particular game on my Game Boy Color. It's a pretty good little version of Centipede, if I've been being honest here. Chessmaster, I said on original Game Boy it was kind of going to get in there, so I'll put Chessmaster Game Boy Color version as a maybe. Let's see, Bubble Bobble, or classic Bubble Bobble. I'll put that one as a maybe as well, or I'll put it up to a most likely, even though on regular I said the same. All right, Croc, this one's interesting just because it's THQ, so I'm pretty sure at this point Embracer is the group that owns it. So I'll put Croc as a maybe. I'll put Croc as a maybe. All right, Crystalis. This one is licensed by Nintendo. So I'll actually say, since I don't see another named developer on there, I'll actually put that one as a most likely just because it looks like it could be one. Yeah. Cubics. Robots for Everyone. I rarely. Oh, that's Warner Brothers. No chance in hell. I missed one. Never mind. I missed one. Cubics Robots for Everyone is a Warner Brothers game, so no chance in hell. Never mind. Donkey Kong Country. Now this one's interesting because I mean basically it's a Game Boy Color version of Donkey Kong Country and actually mirrors the game pretty darn close. That being said, Donkey Kong Country is already on the Super Nintendo list on the Switch, but I will still put it as a maybe. In fact, I'll move it up to a most likely. I'll move it up to a most likely just because it's Donkey Kong Country, and they will just use that. Now, these are some interesting ones right here, and there's some Dragon Warrior games down here. 1, 2, and 3 all got their own Game Boy variations of Dragon Warrior. And the thing is, they were actually really good. Like, I remember them being very acceptable, people being very pleased with how they turned out. Like, they were actually very, very, very good versions of Dragon Warrior. And since even though Square Enix does own the rights to them, and Square Enix hasn't technically put any of these on there. Well, they have. I think they have to some capacity. I think they put the first one. I could be wrong. But I will put these Dragon Warrior games, I will put these as a maybe just because it's Square Enix and they are a little weird. Same with Dragon Warrior Monsters. These two games right here, I'll put those as maybes just because. What's up, Born? How you doing? Just because of it's Square Enix, and Square Enix is a little weird when it comes to that stuff. Earthworm Jim, this particular version of Earthworm Jim, I actually am gonna put that as a maybe, just because Earthworm Jim is just still in a kind of a. I'll move it up to a no. I'll move it down to a maybe. I'll keep it as a maybe, just because Earthworm Jim is in such a weird place as far as its distribution goes and whatnot. It's in such a weird place. It really, truly is. Like, I wish they would figure out, or someone would get a hold of the person that has the rights to Earthworm Jim and just say, make up your damn mind. F-18 Thunderstrike. Even though Atari has the rights to this, I'll actually put this one as a maybe. Frogger, I'll put that one as a maybe. Galaga, same. I'll put that one as a maybe. Game & Watch Gallery 2, I don't think that particular one is on there, but that one's also a very likely. I thought I already put a... Oh, wait. This one should be shoe-in. Sorry, hold on. It's a shoe-in. Sorry. There we go. Yeah, that one's a shoe-in. That one's happening. Game & Watch Gallery 2, that one's happening. Like, hands down. Same with, I don't think we have... Wait, I think we have this one. I think we have... I think we do have Game & Watch Gallery 3, so that one's already in. So, there we go. The Harvest Moons on Game Boy Color, you know what? I was a little iffy on the regular versions that were on the regular Game Boy, but you know what? I'll actually go ahead and screw it. Let's just go ahead and say... I'll say it's a shoe-in for the first one, and I'll say very likely for Harvest Moon 2, GBC 2 and 3. But I will say it's a shoe-in. I'll call my shot right now. I'll say it's a shoe-in for Harvest Moon GBC. I'll call my shot right now. Now these are interesting right here. Heroes of Might and Magic 1 and 2. Two particular titles, or a franchise we haven't heard a lot out of. I think, even though I don't really know who has the licensing to it right now, but Natsume has been butts lately. Then I'll move this down to a most likely, just because of the history there. So we'll see with that one. The Heroes of Might and Magic definitely has history with Nintendo, so I'll actually put Heroes of Might and Magic as a maybe. I'll leave it as a maybe. Kirby Tilt and Tumble's already gonna be in there. Here's another Natsume title, and there are a couple of Natsume titles already on some of the services. Legend of the River King, I'll put these as maybes. No, I'll tell you what. No, not you, Zelda. I'll put Legend of the River King 2 as a maybe, and I will put Legend of the River King 1 as a most likely. And the reason why I put these as most likely is, even though Natsume is kind of being a butt lately, money talks. So it's like, oh, they can be a butt all they want until Nintendo holds up some money, and then they're like, well, okay. That one's already there. Both the Oracle games will be there, and also Zelda DX is will be there as well. Lemmings, I'll actually say Lemmings might be a most likely, just because it's Lemmings, you know. Now this is an interesting one. Lufia: The Legend Returns, another Natsume title, but also a game that has a very big fan following. I do recall, I hope I'm recalling correctly, but I do believe that the Lufia title that was on Game Boy Color actually was really good. So I will say Lufia might be a high maybe. I'll say Lufia is a high maybe, and we'll see. You know what? I'll move Earthworm Jim up a little more, and I'll move those right there. Yeah, they're not in any particular. I'll put Lufia as a maybe. You know what? Screw it. I'll call my shot. I'll put Lufia as a most likely. Why not? I'll put it there. Marble Madness. I will put Marble Madness as a maybe, just because no other versions of Marble Madness have shown up on NES, or the Game Boy version didn't show up. And also Marble Madness has been strangely absent from what I remember. I could be wrong, but as far as I recall, I'm I've noticed, at least I think, I don't know if Marble Madness is even on the Switch. If it is, please let me know. I just noticed it's kind of been absent a little bit, but it could be on the Switch in some form or another, like an arcade archive or something like that. But I haven't seen Marble Madness. I have not. I'm also going to move Galaga up to a most likely. Mario Golf, that's a shoe-in. Mario Tennis is a shoe-in. Now, I am going to call my shot with both of the Mega Man Extreme games. Since it doesn't seem like there's any kind of a Mega Man collection for the handheld Mega Man games, I actually am going to put Mega Man Extreme 1 and 2. I'm going to put these as most likely. And also, I will say the same for the first 5 Mega Man Game Boy games. Because again, it doesn't look like Capcom's going to be doing any kind of a collection or anything with those. So this might be a good opportunity for Capcom to get those games on there. It's, you know, but because honestly, I don't know of any other way they could do it outside of a collection. And even then, what do you call that collection? You know, the Mega Man handheld collection? Well, now that I mention it, they could just call it that. But I don't know. You know, they haven't done anything with those 5 Game Boy Mega Man games, and they haven't even mentioned Extreme 1 and 2 in forever. So, you know, I mean, who knows? You know, who knows? Could be, who knows? Now, this one's interesting. Metal Gear Solid. That was for Game Boy Color. I have not seen Metal Gear pop up on the NES Switch service. And because Konami is very weird about Metal Gear, I'm gonna say, sadly say that Metal Gear Solid on Game Boy Color has no chance in hell. I'm just gonna say, you know what? I'll even say Marble Madness has no chance in hell. If it ain't on the Switch now, it ain't gonna be on the Switch ever. You know, I don't know. That one just like, it's Metal Gear. They burnt that bridge. Yeah, there's no way. Mr. Driller, calling it right now. That's a shoe-in just because there's a lot of history with that game. I will put Miss Pac-Man, even though I put them in the other one. I will put both the Pac-Mans as most likelies just because it's Pac-Man and they tend to show up everywhere. It's kind of like Tetris. Paperboy, no chance in hell. You know why? Because nobody remembers what Paperboy was. No game dev remembers Paperboy. Perfect Dark. Now, I know what you'll say. It's rare. Maybe they'll cut it a break, right? I'm telling you right now, that well's starting to run dry. There's no chance in hell Perfect Dark from Game Boy Color shows up. Actually, I'm kidding. I'll put it as a maybe. I will put Perfect Dark. I will put Perfect Dark as a maybe. Hi, Bradbury. How you doing, man? Thank you for the follow. I will put that one as a maybe. Now, here's one I will say probably has no chance in hell, and that is Pitfall Beyond the Jungle. I don't remember this one selling particularly well, but also the Pitfall franchise is just kind of dead. So there's kind of no reason to put that one. Now, Pocket Game Boy, that one was actually semi big deal on that. And just like the other Bombermans, I'm actually going to put the Game Boy was actually very kind to Bomberman. Like, extremely kind. Hell, the Super Nintendo was very kind to Bomberman. Like, Nintendo, for over the years, Nintendo has been very kind and a very good home for Bomberman. Honestly, Nintendo ought to just buy the rights of Bomberman from Konami at this point, because, I mean, he's practically a Nintendo mascot anyway at this point. So, I mean, gosh, he's been on more Nintendo platforms than any other platform. So, I mean, why the hell not, you know? Pocket Bowling, it's obscure, so why not? All right. I am going to move. I said it yesterday that Pokemon Yellow would be at a maybe. I will put Pokemon Yellow at a most likely. Now, here's where this gets interesting with these three right here. Crystal, Gold, and Silver. I said the same thing with Red and Blue. How that's just basically practically easy money right there, and it would be such easy money, it's not even funny. Through their multiplayer system, they could work out the link cable stuff and whatnot. Because I mean, I think with the 3DS version, you could trade between 3DSs if you were playing Red, Blue, Yellow, or Gold and Silver. So I mean, the idea of the execution is there. So honestly, I'm calling my shot Fnatic, remember, Heart Gold and Soul Silver are the DS versions. This is just Gold and Silver. This is just Gold and Silver. You know? Well, there's no reason to... There's no reason to port Heart Gold and Soul Silver. One, they're DS games. Two, they would have to compensate for the touchscreen where your menu was. Three, that would involve reconfiguring the game itself to work on a singular screen.
Before anyone says anything, yes, I've seen DS emulation on the Switch. And quite frankly, this looks miserable to play.
Y'all are killing me. Y'all, there's no reason to just port Heart Gold and Soul Silver when the easy money is right there. Y'all are killing me. Y'all are killing me. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm crushing your dreams right now. They are not porting DS. Instead, you're gonna get Crystal as a maybe, and you're getting Gold and Silver as a shoo-in. Y'all are killing me here. That's not how the Switch works. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Well, this dream is a dream. This dream is a dream within a dream. I'm crushing your dreams. Let go of DS. It's not happening on the Switch. It's not. You turds. God, y'all are killing me. I'm gonna start slapping folks in a minute. I'll tell you what. Pokemon Pinball is a shoe-in. Easy money. Easy money. I'll even say Pokemon. No, not that one. Well, that one's already there. Pokemon Puzzle Challenge is a shoe-in. That's easy money. Easy money for them. Very easy money. Quest. I'll actually say Quest might be a maybe. Just because that franchise has been around for a hot second. I'll even say maybe on this one. R-Type DX. I will say maybe for R-Type DX. Resident Evil Gaiden, you know what? I will say maybe on Resident Evil Gaiden. I will say maybe just because, that one right there. Shadowgate Classic, I'll say maybe on Shadowgate Classic. I see Shantae on the list, consider the reception of the last one, I think it's a shoe-in. Well, here's how I know it's a shoe-in. Here's how I know Shantae is a shoe-in. Because technically they've already released the game on the Switch. They did an individual limited time cartridge release of this version of Shantae. So this, and since they're not doing the cartridge version anymore, this will probably be the other way that they get this game back onto the Switch is through this service right here. So no, I actually will say Shantae is a shoe-in. Absolutely. Absolutely. Space Invaders, I will put that one as a maybe. Why did I put Pocket Bowling? I meant Pocket Bowling for here. Spy vs. Spy, nope, no chance in hell. Super Mario Deluxe, it's a little weird. Just because technically Super Mario Bros. 1 was on the NES. But technically, there were some differences in this one. Minuscule differences, but differences nonetheless. But I will put it as a shoe-in because it's Mario. Have mainline Pokemon games ever been re-released outside of remakes and remasters? Yes, Red, Blue, Yellow, Soul. See, now Fnatic's got me doing it. Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, and Crystal were all re-released as individual games on the 3DS. So, yes, they technically have been re-released before. So, yeah. And it was very, very successful. So, and you could use, on the 3DS, you could, like, port them from the Pokebank into that and stuff like that and move them around and shit. So, yeah. So, yeah, technically, mainline Pokemon games have been re-released. So, yeah. Basically, Gen 1 and Gen 2 got re-released. Yeah, with all the jank code included. I don't care. Look, you make fun of Gen 1 all you want. You can make fun of Gen 1 all you want. When you finally get a Pokemon generation that finally outsells Gen 1, joke's on you. There's the precedent then. And here's why. No, you know what? I'm moving these down to most likely. You know why? I'm moving these down to most likely. Do you know why I'm moving these down to most likely? Oh, I meant to move this one to a most likely. You know why I'm moving these to a most likely? Here's why. Because they could just sell them for 20 bucks individually by themselves on the Switch and make a shit ton of money that way. I don't think they should. But I could totally see Nintendo doing that. I could totes Zygotes see Nintendo doing that. $60, they will not charge $60 for these. They are not going to charge $60 for this. Stop forcing bad things into reality. Stop it. So I'm moving these down to most likely. I'm kidding. I'm leaving gold and silver as a shoe-in. I'm sorry. I'm putting gold and silver as a shoe-in. I'm leaving crystal as a maybe. So there we go. Tetris DX. That's a shoe-in just because Nintendo still had the handheld rights to this particular Tetris. Rainbow. All right. No way in hell. No way in hell. No, I'm sorry, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. No way in hell. You'd still buy them though? Yeah, probably, but I'm telling you, they are not going to charge $60 for these. And you know why they're not going to charge $60? Because you know why Nintendo is not going to charge $60 for red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, crystal? You want to know you really want to know why they're not going to charge $60 for it? Because you folks are not going to put that out into the universe and then it manifests and end up happening. Okay? Because here's the deal. If these do get re-released as individual games at $60, it's gonna be your fault because you made it manifest in the universe. It's gonna be your fault, chat. It's gonna be your fault. It's gonna be your fault. It's gonna be hella your fault. Ubisoft and Nintendo work together a lot, so I could see Rainbow Six. Fine here. To appease the chat, I will put Rainbow Six as a maybe. Anywho, Wario Land 3 is already on, and I already said Wario Land 2 was a shoe-in, or aka inevitable. Mario and Rabbids, oh duh. Mario and Rabbids, duh. Okay, then yeah, I'll put Rainbow Six as a maybe. That's true. That's true. Warriors of Might and Magic, I think I already put Warriors of Might and Magic. I put a Warriors of Might and Magic somewhere. Oh, Heroes of Might and Magic. Sorry, I'll put that one as a maybe. But yeah, those are basically my, these are the quintessentials. I'm calling it right now. These are the shoe-ins. These are definitely going to get in there, for sure.